So Dieter Speidel, I'm CEO and founder and CEO of Pass Group, and I think our company is one of the great examples of what crowdsourcing can do for small and medium enterprises by leveraging their growth through crowdsourced resources and related technology, the technology related to it. So my presentation today is focusing around crowdsourced testing. Carl said it already, in short, crowd testing, and we believe that crowd testing is one of the hottest topics in the crowdsourcing scene. We've started 20 years ago as an outsourcing services provider in software QA, and that's the basis of the core knowledge and the core capabilities. And about 3 years ago, we started to develop our own crowd testing platform and our own crowd testing practice. And today we can say that we have already achieved a level where we're a leading provider of crowd testing platform solutions, owning a community, and I mean owning is the wrong word, but I still use it, owning a community of professional crowd testers and users in more than 70 countries. Now, what is special about passbrains, which is our crowd testing platform, is the fact that we can offer that as a managed service. That's how we started, and now we're in a stage where we can allow clients to go in and use it as a self-service, in self-service mode, and we're also offering it as a platform, as a white label platform to partner companies, because what we've seen is that in the software QA space, there's more and more leading service providers moving into crowdsourcing because there's strong demand from their clients. So a few slides just to warm up, to question yourself how relevant is online interaction through mobile and web apps for your business, and maybe you'll recognize what you're using on a day-to-day basis in terms of applications. All kinds of different mobile and web applications for purchasing stuff, booking travel, social media, payment transactions, or selling your used stuff on an online auction. There's a very high number and a growing number of applications that we use every day. We know that. And I'm sure your enterprise is also offering applications to your clients, and it's very important to avoid this kind of customer experience that you might see once in a while. So we've had a lot of black screens in our lives, especially me after 30 years of IT experience. Today we have a lot of application crashes on mobile applications. We have web pages which don't appear. There's Twitter hacking all over the place. I don't know if you've seen that one, where there was a wrong press message just distributed through Twitter recently. And there's more than that, and we're all afraid when we're buying something online, there might be the wrong price in the basket. Security is a big issue as well, and like I said, we want to avoid this. We want to avoid that for our clients, but first of all, why is it like that? Why do we still have that situation that software quality is still so bad after so many years of improving software quality assurance? Now, from our point of view, there is some major reasons. Applications become more and more powerful, more and more complex, more and more use cases to be tested, and the number of testers that an organization can apply to a project is simply limited. So they have to focus on the critical functions. They cannot test everything. And on the other side, there's a continuously growing number of devices, mobile devices, operating systems, browser versions out there, and that creates compatibility issues. So even if the program passes the test on one device, it might still fail on another one. So here's a summary of today's challenges in the IT landscape. We have more and more consumer-driven apps. We have more and more cloud-based applications. Product cycles, product development cycles are shrinking continuously. more and more configurations and users all over the place, all over the world. So, as a matter of fact, companies today are struggling keeping up with the quality and also dealing with the costs that are associated with it and delivering it at the right speed. Today, testing accounts to more than 30% of the software development costs already. So there is a cost reduction issue that needs to be solved. And it was summarized in Computer Weekly that testing has never been more critical to the company's reputation than before. Now, the traditional testing approach could be looked at like this. We always use the same testers. They always use the same computers for their tests. And they're kind of tiring over time. There's nothing really new going on. They have limited availability. We have limited resources. And a tester always earns the same salary, no matter how productive he is and how many issues he finds. So here comes crowdsourcing into the picture. Crowdsourcing and testing, so crowd testing, delivers a huge variety of different individuals who you can apply, and they can bring in all their devices, their different computers, and you can use testers from all different kinds of demographics, which is absolutely great for testing. Availability is guaranteed by the sheer size of the community, of the crowd, and so this enables crowd testing service providers like us to have testers available whenever they are needed, on demand. And last but not least, crowd testers, they earn not by the hour, they're earning as much as they find. They're paid by the deliverables, and that is a very significant cost-saving factor. We don't have to pay salaries, we don't have to pay overhead costs. Let me talk about how crowd testing works very briefly. So this is the basis. We have thousands of testers available, and we have to choose the right ones to assign to a project. That's a task that we do as a service provider, or that our customers can do using our platform by selecting testers based on their skills, based on their demographics, based on the devices they have, based on their domain background, etc., etc. So the basis is a crowd testers database, and testers can be selected for projects within a very short time frame. Next, we have to offer them something, so they do the work. There's many people, they just like to participate because they learn something, or they can develop their skills further, but of course they want to have the chance to earn money through that. So we're offering bounties, we're offering rewards. And given the fact that crowd testers only earn money if they're first, there's kind of a race going on. So the first one that delivers gets the reward. And that leads to the fact that we can harvest immediate results, and the performance is really astonishing. And we see that basically in every single project, that the speed is so much faster. Now, who are crowd testers? The species of crowd testers starts with software users. Any one of you can be a crowd tester because you're using computers, you're using mobile phones. So instead of watching TV, you can participate in a crowd testing project. Next to software users, it's very important to engage also professional testers with a software testing background. Next to the public crowd, you can engage your private crowd, your employees, your contractors, your external stakeholders, especially for critical tasks or anything you really want to handle in-house. And last but not least, there's subject matter experts, there's the specialists that we can find in the community, even on an individual basis, whenever it's needed. Now, again, to be able to run crowd testing projects, you need a platform. And I don't want to go into details here. It's just an example of the platform that we own, passbrains. And our platform is handling these tester profiles, supports the selection of testers. It provides them with communication and collaboration tools, We give them knowledge management tools as well to exchange their experience. We provide tools for test management and delivery and for reporting. So the platform also allows clients to go in and see the project status at any point of time. Now, how is that organized? There's two main different forms of organization. The first one is we keep control through some in-house resources like test designers, result reviewers, and test managers are internal employees. This is the kind of managed crowd testing approach that we offer to clients. So we only have testers in the cloud. In the crowd. The other model is using more crowd resources for tasks like test design and reviewing and even test management for kind of self-service models. So it's similar, like we were just connecting resources, crowdsourced resources with the client, and the client only has to supervise the process. It really depends on the requirements of a project, which model is more suitable. It's also a question of cost, whether we want to offer crowd testing as a managed service or as a self-service. Quick look into the productivity and the capacity. That's a very interesting aspect, and we're continuously analyzing who are the crowd workers, who are the crowd testers, when are they available. I mean, we all know they're mainly part-time workers, freelancers, currently unemployed people, but these people, they're available only at a certain point of time, and that's why a crowd community has to have a certain size. The average capacity that we harvest from crowdsource team is very random, and that's why we have to make sure we always hire more resources, more testers than we actually think we need for a project. In average, we see a capacity of 30 to 50%. So it's not if we offer a customer 50 testers for 2 weeks, it's not 50 times 10 days. It's 30 to 50% capacity of that. But on the other hand, we see a productivity gain, a much stronger output because of that factor that everything happens within a very short time frame. So the output that we see is in average 3 times higher due to this competitive nature of the process and due to the higher number of testers. So if we balance that, we're again at around 100% capacity. Summarizing the benefits, crowd testing is on demand. We can staff projects within hours or days instead of weeks. So in most cases, staffing process is finished within half a day or a day. Crowd testing projects are scalable. We have a source of tens of thousands of testers. We can manage hundreds of projects through that. Compared to traditional models, it is we achieve 2 to 3 times more defects and better coverage because testers are using their own devices. It's faster, up to 3 times faster delivery, and it's cheaper. It's not always 90%, but in most cases 50 to 70% in savings, and I think that's really worth looking into it. Now there's also concerns, of course. Everybody, when he hears the word crowd, thinks about whether do we know these people, do we know the testers, issues of security maybe, and is the information, is the data treated confidentially, but there's also solutions for that, like data protection or secure access to the applications, firewalled staging servers, etc. And in basically all the cases, every single crowd tester is signing a non-disclosure agreement for a project, for every single project. And if it's really a high secure project, we tend to use the private crowd in combination with public crowd just to make sure that critical tasks are only deployed to private crowd resources. Here's a few numbers of what we can achieve with crowd testing, and let me move over here so I can read the numbers. It's hard to read that on the screen. Okay. So this is a project where we were testing an online auction application which was already online since several months. So software which has been tested, which has been released, which has been used by 10,000s of users already before. And over a 26 weeks duration, we had bi-weekly updates. We were running 8 test cycles with roughly close to 100 testers, 2 internal test managers, 3 reviewers, and the output was close to 3,000 bug reports within that time frame. We were covering operating systems from Linux over Mac to Windows, including Windows 8 Beta at that point of time, covering all the different browsers there. And we had the coverage of 26 different countries and 5 languages in the testing projects. Results of that was 56% total cost reduction, 33% reduction of test cycle time, number of tickets I mentioned already, 70% acceptance on the tickets that have been submitted, and more than 150 new features and enhancement suggestions that were accepted by the client. So I think that's pretty impressive for a software which has been tested and released already. Of course, there were intermediate releases, but okay. So, second example, a web shop of a global food supplier, web shop for chocolate, Swiss chocolate, actually. And same situation, software was released already, was used since a while, and we were running a crowd test on it. And this graph shows that we had a lead time of 1 day. That's the 0 value at the very end, at the left end. And we were staffing close to 100 testers over a week's time frame. Now, the interesting number here is that 80% of the bugs, so more than 500 bugs, were identified during the first 3 days. And in the end, we were achieving close to 600 issues. These are numbers that I haven't seen in any kind of outsource model before. And it's really a result of engaging, like I said before, professional testers in combination with user testers. So as an enterprise, you have the choice to either build your own crowd testing solution. We heard that already for crowdsourcing, build your own software, build your own platform, or to outsource the service to a vendor like passbrains, or to license a crowd testing platform like we're offering that. So my recommendation to finalize this is make sure you get your applications crowd tested if you want to have happy customers. Thank you. Questions?
Quick one. In the bug testing, you said you had 600 more tickets. So was the closure rate faster, or it's just identification was more?
It was much more than usual. Okay, so the question was if the 600 tickets were just more tickets than usually, or whether it was faster, and actually it was both, right?
Yeah, I mean, just so did the closure rate go faster?
The closure rate?
Right, because...
You mean the fixing rate?
Fixing rate.
Well, that's another story. I mean, we're just testing, we're not fixing. So we're assuming if we find the bugs quicker, they can fix them earlier.
Are most of the applications that you test in crowd testing for are outside of the firewall? I would presume there's a less of functional testing that you would do. It will be more of mobile, web-based. Is that true? Or
there is a lot of mobile and web-based, but it's not just functional testing. It's functional compatibility, usability, load performance, security. So it's a whole picture that you can cover if you engage professional testers together with user testers.
So it will have to be outside of the firewall from a client standpoint?
Either that or providing a secure staging server for the testers.
Okay.
Testers are paid per defect found?
Testers are paid per defect found. They're paid per usability feedback they provide. In some cases, they're asked to provide videos and you know, bespoken videos and how they're using and what their experience when using the application. We're using testers to suggest test cases even, so they get paid by test case. So it's basically a payment per deliverable. How much? Oops. Rates are in between $5 and $30 per bug, depending on the severity. Feedback reports, they range between 15 and 35. Yeah, that's about the range. So we had cases where Crowdtest champions were earning like $2,000, $2,500 per month through their contribution. We had cases where professional software testers out of India earned 3 times more through our platform than during their daytime job in their company.